Mostly I think of it as a great privilege to be able to be in these sacred moments of people's lives, happy moments and not so happy moments. A great privilege to be with people in worship, preaching. In this part of the country, I think it's important. The Episcopal Church has an important role to play in being kind of an alternative version of Christianity. And I think it's a privilege to be part of that. And I'm happy every day when I pull into the church parking lot. 50 years ago, I had just graduated from high school. So I was in that summer between high school and college. And I was an Episcopalian, but the ordination of the women, I was aware of it. It was just kind of a blip because I was focused on Watergate and going to college. And Nixon resigned about a week after the ordinations. So I've thought about that was kind of weird that I was not as focused on that, because I considered myself a feminist then and now, and I would have thought that I'd be more interested in what was going on in the church. But if you had told me 50 years ago that that's the event that was going to have a huge impact on my life, I would not have realized that, or would not have believed that. But I got to go to the 25th anniversary celebration at the church in Philadelphia where the ordinations took place, and Barbara Harris was the preacher, and a lot of the original 11 were there. And it was one of the most joy-filled services I've ever been to, and just hearing those women's stories, and what a debt of gratitude I and all women clergy, but the church has to those 11 and the 4 in Washington. They were courageous, and they changed the church for the better. I was at a church in Chattanooga as the assistant, and hadn't been there very long, and I was the first woman in a collar that most people had ever seen. And there were a few families who left when it was announced that I was coming before even, seeing me. But that was the minority. People were great there. But the rector was going on sabbatical, and I was going to be, in charge for 3 months. And there was a wedding that was supposed to happen in those 3 months, and the father of the bride came and talked to the rector and said that they did not want me to do the wedding because they didn't think that it would be valid if it was done by a woman. And David, to his credit, said, well, if you're going to get married at St. Timothy's, Tricia will do the wedding. And I did, and they left after that mad, and about 6 months or so later, someone called me, another parishioner called me and said that the woman in this family, not the mother of the bride, was in the hospital and I should go see them. And I said, well, they've left, and I think I would probably be the last person that they would want to come visit them in the hospital. But I did, and they were grateful. And to make a longer story short, I ended up in such a great relationship with that guy. He was a World War II fighter pilot, the opposite end of any spectrum from me. And we had the best relationship. His wife died, and I did the funeral, and he would come by my office and come and walk in and cry for 5 minutes, turn around and walk out, But he became one of my biggest supporters. And that, I just think that's the story of redemption and forgiveness and hope and the possibility of change. He changed, but I changed too, because really I was not crazy about him. But I loved him by the end of it,